Hello, this is Gradye Parsons, and this is our continuing series on the foundations of polity, which are the first section in our Book of Order, newly revamped in July of this past year. Today we're looking again at F10301. We're looking at basically the third clause that's in it, which reads, "The church is to be a community of hope, rejoicing in the sure and certain knowledge that in Christ God is making a new creation. This new creation is a new beginning for human life and for all things. The church lives in the present on the strength of that promised new creation." And where we find a parallel is again in the brief statement of faith, beginning at line 27. "We trust in God, whom Jesus called Abba, Father. In sovereign love, God created the world good and makes everyone equally in God's image, male and female of every race and people, to live as one community." In 1970, I spent my first winter in Knoxville, Tennessee as a student at the university there. And back in those days, the primary way people heated their homes was through coal or wood products. But anyway, the first day of the cold weather, there was just this whole gray cloud of basically pollution sitting over the town. And of course, through efforts of the EPA and others, nowadays it's a clean vista, just as it is if you go to Pittsburgh and other places where the result of our stewardship of creation has resulted in a cleanness that we can all enjoy as we breathe a good air. What the Book of Order is talking about is, again, from Corinthians, that God is working through this creation, that we are created beings, and God is also working through that creation to reclaim creation, not just reclaim it, but basically reshape it for what its purpose. A book I would recommend to you is by one of the members of the Committee in the Office of General Assembly, Marcia W, called "Let Dry Bones Breathe," which is based on the Ezekiel passage. And what she's kind of the point of her book is that we're not just head people, we are also head and body people, and getting in touch with who we are as human beings, as people of the way God has made us, helps us get in touch with this gift that is creation. Now, part of what the Book of Confessions and the brief statement is talking about is that in this recreation, it's not just recreation to make things pretty again, but part of this recreation is to take us as human beings, as people of different genders and different colors and different contexts, and help us to live as one community. That's part of the gift of this recreation that's going on, and that's part of the work of the church, is to take real people and put them into community, gather them around as a worshiping group of people, and have them develop a community and begin to know each other and to like each other and to love each other and to be supportive of each other. And that's part of the gifts of the church. I had sitting with someone the other night at dinner who's gone through a real tough time in their life with a car wreck in their family, and how important it was that how it came home to roost, all those sermons about prayer works and church works and all that stuff, all that came true for them as they lived through this experience with people gathered around them, lifting them up in prayer, lifting them up physically as they helped take care of the needs that they couldn't take care of. And that's part of this recreated work of the church, is to recreate connections, to recreate reconciliation of people with each other. So when you look at your church, look at the people in your church. Sometimes just go stand in the back of the sanctuary and look at all those backs of those heads of those people there, and just think about all those lives that you live with and that you benefit from and that you rub up against every Sunday as you're there in church, and how those lives have affected you. The people who have taught you in Sunday school, the people who have inspired you in the choir, the people who have given you comfort and support when you've gone through tragedies in life. Think about those people and just ask yourself, how is this gift of creation? How am I affirming this gift of creation? How am I contributing to this gift of the recreation God is doing as God brings us back together as a community, men and women, different sexes, different genders, different races, different contexts, different beings? How am I contributing to that recreation? And in finding that answer, we, in a sense, find our way to be a new community. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.